test. everybody has checked in, or if you haven't, please make sure you do. Oh, is this on? I don't think so. I'll try to yell. I have a really quiet voice, so can you hear me now? Okay, so we're here tonight to assemble at the Town Hall on Monday, the 30th day of June, 2025 at 6:30 to act on Articles 1 and 2. Article 1 is to elect a moderator to preside over the meeting. Can I get a nomination?
I nominate Ron with you.
Okay. Second. Any other nominations? Okay, so this is a written ballot. So if you could come up, get a ballot, vote. I don't need all of you. I just need a majority. There's only one nomination. So if you don't want to vote, don't come up. But if you can come up, get a ballot, and we'll get that going, and then Ron will be sworn in, and we'll take over the meeting. Okay, so come on up, get a ballot. Votes, so Ron will be nominated as. We have enough yes votes, so Ron is moderator for the evening. I'm going to swear him in. You don't need to hear it, but anyway. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
As long as I shall.
As long as I shall.
Continue a citizen thereof.
Continue a citizen thereof.
I state your name.
I, Ron Biggie.
Do swear that I will faithfully discharge.
That I will faithfully discharge.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
The duties incumbent on me.
The duties incumbent on me.
As moderator for the town of Berwick.
As moderator for the town of Berwick.
According to the Constitution.
According to the Constitution.
And laws of the state.
And laws of the state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I need you to sign right here. That shouldn't be there, but that's okay. I don't think this is on. You have a loud voice. I don't. Thanks, Ron.
Good evening. Can you hear me? I want to start with a little humor. Is that okay? The first person said, I wonder what my ancestors would think about our country today. The second person said, I don't know. When I get to heaven, I'll ask them. First person said, what if they're not in heaven? Second person said, then you can ask them. All right, folks. Been a while since we've had an open town meeting, so I'm going to give you some rules. First of all, if you have a cell phone, mute it. Second, procedure to be recognized. Raise your right hand. I'll call on you. State your name, and then you can speak to the issue. To the issue. Not to anybody else, but to other people. To the issue. When you speak, we'll ask you not to yell and no profanity. When you raise your right hands and I call on you to speak, I will call on everybody at least once before I call on you, if you raise your hand, to be spoken a second time. Everybody gets a shot at it before you get your second shot at it. The methods of voting. State of Maine has 5 methods. One, what we usually do is I'll read the article, what's your pleasure, and we usually voice vote, yea or nay. If the chair is uncertain, we'll go to raise your hand. Now I'll point a couple of people who hopefully will volunteer to come for hands. If the chair is still unsure, we'll go to a standing vote. Yea stand, nay stand. Again, we'll have counted. That is still unclear to the chair. I'll divide, what they say, divide the room. Ayes over here, nays over there. If we're still unsure, hopefully by that time, we'll go to a written ballot, which this evening is going to be a very time-consuming thing. So hopefully we don't have to get to the 5th one, but hopefully one of the 4 will work. Any questions about that? All right. Every motion except one requires a second. For us to have a discussion and a debate, we have to have a motion and a second before we can start the discussion and the debate. A second, the person that seconds the motion doesn't necessarily mean you're for it. It's just to move the process along so we can get to the discussion and the debate. Everybody clear on that? I'd ask that there's no side conversations while we have our special town meeting. If you want to speak while somebody is speaking, I'm going to ask you to go outside. We have a constable here, and the moderator has the right under the law of the state of Maine to ask you to be silent. If you don't, I can ask the constable to remove you. Right? Hopefully we don't get to that point. I did it for 30 years back in the day when we had town meetings, and I think it was only once that we had to remove something. I did not sign in to vote, so I will not be voting as the moderator. That being said, Article 2. Shall a town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $492,486,000 for the town administration account for fiscal year 2025-2026, which begins July 1st, 2025, that's tomorrow. What is your pleasure? I'm sorry? Article 2, I just read it. I need a motion. So moved. Would you raise your right hand and stand and state your name, please?
Yes, Wendy Lowe, 27 Old Pine Road.
Thank you, Wendy. I need a second. Thank you. Discussion. In the back, stand and state your name, please.
Hi, Gary Brennan. Just one question. The original ballot question failed at the town vote a couple of weeks ago. And the amount budgeted for this purpose was cut back to last year's amount. What's being cut out? In other words, we budgeted a certain amount of money. Was it 420,000 roughly originally?
521,000.
Now we're going back to what we had last year. What's getting cut out? Thank you.
Well, first of all, let me address your preliminary question that typically back in the day, when an article was defeated, the prior year's budget for that article was automatically instated. It's my understanding from the town clerk that a couple of years ago, we did away with it.
Right.
That's why we're here.
Well, what's getting cut out?
I'll ask the chairman of the board.
So most of that's driven actually by payroll that is not forecasted for next year. So sorry, I'll stand up. Looking at it, so from what preliminary was proposed to the town to what is being proposed tonight, it's actually a payroll reduction. So there is some salary increase that goes with raises. But it comes with that, and then the taxes, like health insurance, and everything ties to that. So that's being reduced in this one.
We can understand you. You still can't hear.
They didn't hear you, Mike. It doesn't work.
Doesn't speak. So for what it is for this year, or what was proposed, it is still a payroll reduction from what was proposed last time to this time. So there is some salary decrease being proposed again. So we went back, looked at payroll, that's being decreased. And then from there, we're seeing the Medicare taxes, FICA tax, all those other insurances tied to that also coming down. Can you guys hear me there?
Anybody else? Sir?
Yeah.
State your name.
Robert Kruger, I just want to say sorry that we're all here. I'm very disappointed. The original mountain back in the past. I will be voting to pass this up to make sure our town moves forward.
Wendy?
Wendy Lowe, 127 Old Pine Road. Just to clarify, when you say payroll reduction, are you talking reduction in staffing? Are you people who are in jobs, are they part-time? What is the, just what are, since this is positive vote for this amount, what do you mean?
If you understand that.
Yeah. So, to be clear, so nobody is being proposed. There's no salary. That microphone
Doesn't work.
We can't understand you. Then holler, please.
anybody being cut out of reduced payroll. There is no payroll reduction as far as training of staff or anything. It was looking at prospective raises and what might be brought on for next year. So we have just kind of gone back to where we are and seeing our current employees' raises for this year, like keep it in a reduced range from what's in your perspective. So what doesn't go up is, again, there's healthcare insurance, there's taxes with that. That is not, because we're not getting those substantial numbers, that's also not going to happen at the same time. One is
Yes, ma'am.
Amy Allen, 1900 Drive, Berwick. My question is also related to fiscal. The question that I have is to the top administrator for this 492,896 budget, please, to the lowest. What's the gap? What's the pay gap? What is the top official pay versus the lowest?
Yeah, all right, down the middle. full-time wage in there, which is about $32,000.
What are their increases for this year? What are the difference between the two?
It was, I believe, 3% across the board, which is what actually ended up with the union, and be corrected on that. But that is what it was. And pay gap hourly rate, or just to
I
clarify.
want to know the gap between the two. What is the top administrative gap versus the lower gap?
So from the top employee on there to the lowest employee full-time is about $65,000.
Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Rebecca Tree-Lesley, and I have a question. I don't remember when something was voted down in a very long time, and I'm curious if you know why this was voted down. Was it voted down because it was too much, or too little, or people were angry about other things in the town, or a specific thing? I'm curious what you've heard about why this was voted down, because it's very strange to me to have the administration of the town voted down. And I agree, we spend too much money, but I'm curious why this was the thing that was picked on and not the $49.4 thousand school budget, for example. $1 million.
Thank you. Anybody in the community here want to respond to that? Why you voted no, whatever? Kathy?
The only thing I've heard about was the town manager's salary. That's the only thing I've heard, that was determination of job going down.
Did you hear us?
No, it was about the town manager's salary, is the only thing I've heard negative about the budget.
Kevin Watts, whenever we drive. The top administration line on that budget is the town manager, is that correct?
No, that is the total.
What's that?
That is the total payroll expense on that top line.
No, the one that you mentioned, the 100 and...
Oh, yes, sir.
113,000,
I believe that was the sticking point, is that the town manager is making almost $114,000. Do you have the number from last year?
I do not, unfortunately. No, sorry. $110,000 for last year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Paul Lusky. My question is, okay, so we think it's the town manager's salary. What does reducing this budget, which doesn't touch the salary I understood, do to appease those people that voted no on this? I mean, $30,000 is a lot of money to me personally, but well, how is that going to fix all the negative feelings about the town manager's salary?
I don't respond to anything because I'm the moderator, so I don't want to be fair and impartial. But if anybody wants to respond to him, Kathy? State your name. State your name.
From what I understand, we did a 3% increase for everyone's salary. Is that what you stated? So I think by law, they're required to do like a cost of living increase for everybody. So instead of giving them whatever they were planning on giving them, now they're getting 3% along with everybody else because they have to pass a budget. They have to run the town and have to pass a budget. So they're getting 3% instead of whatever they were going to get.
But if that's the case, didn't I just hear a moment ago that this reduction of $30,000 from the budget that was voted down, budget voted down, took out cost of living increases, took off a 3% increase. So you're saying there's a 3% increase plus cost of living of 3%? I'm confused.
Did you answer that?
Because if not, then I'm not sure how this budget addresses a problem of someone that's perceived to be overpaid because we're still giving an increase.
So, to clarify, I mean, if you feel that's already high enough, it's not going to differentiate between that, what's already there. But it was other raises that were in for people more than 3%, that is not in this current budget. So everybody got a cost of living increase, but that's the only raise that's in.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So, question for you, as far as, obviously, I know that last year the town reevaluated everybody. I understand it. A lot of people were upset their taxes went up. Our taxes went up. Where did that money go that went up? I know we paid almost $1,000 more last year. Where did that extra money go that we didn't vote for? I mean, all of a sudden the town got, I don't know how many homes are in this town. If there's 200 homes, you got $2 million. Where did that money go? I see a lot of new vehicles, a lot of new trucks, new cars. What did we vote on? What did we pass to spend that money from out of nowhere?
Mike? State your name.
What's the base?
State your name.
Mike Colby.
Are you responding to him?
No.
All right, hang on.
Okay.
I mean, the money we raise and appropriate still goes to what's budgeted, health insurance, tax, sorry.
Don't be shy.
So it is, it's still the taxing in the town, the health insurance for the employees, every expense that we have, that's still going to town too.
No, I understand that, but we already passed enough money for the town. But right out of nowhere, as soon as tax day comes, I know we gave an extra $1,000. So where did everybody's money go? That extra money? I mean, I don't think anybody's pissed off at $30,000. That's peanuts. Everybody paid a lot of money for taxes. At some point, I mean, I know it's going to keep going up, but it's going to slow down. People with mixed incomes, they're going to have to move. And so, I mean, I think that's probably where the problem is, like this $500,000. People are upset at what they're paying.
I understand.
They're not getting anything out of it.
All right?
I believe most of that,
Speak up.
I believe that most of that goes to the school. Most of your taxes goes into the school.
Typically, over the years, 66% of our budget goes to the school. That's still pretty much the norm? 66% is not the norm, but that's been like that for ever since they started SAD 60, all right? Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Christine Dudley, Old Pine Mill Road North.
Stand up, please.
I'm speaking in support of Article 2. I know it seems like the town manager is getting paid a lot of money, but from someone that works within municipality, you're getting a bargain. And you need to start valuing your town managers, or we're going to end up back hiring another one every 3, 6, 12 months. So support your employees, make them feel valued.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Michael LaRue, 63 Pine Hill Road. It's just to answer him, it's everything that people vote yes on. That's what raises all the taxes.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Dan Miller, 4th Street. I just like to agree with this movement over here to my left. If you look around the grand scheme of things of the town manager's salary, that is a bargain. So I understand people are upset over different aspects of taxing in this town. That's not what this vote is about. We want our town to run. So I'd say, let's let our town grow. If you're ready for the car in July, good luck.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. Walter Rain.
We have a contract with the manager?
Yes, sir, we do.
Years, is that
Yes, sir.
the apple change, so the
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Is there a mechanism in place to evaluate the town manager's job? Is there some discussion, some evaluation, so that people would have a mechanism of expressing opinions for evaluation? Is that done? Most people that have jobs get an annual evaluation. Has there been one? Is there a mechanism for the citizens to have input in that? If there is, I don't know what it is.
So to that two parts. So first, yes. So we actually went through 6-month review and a 1-year annual review. So that will continue. And as far as citizens having feedback, reach out to myself, reach out to anybody on the select board, reach out to town hall. That's input we will always take. We also take feedback from the department heads in town as part of that annual review.
Follow-up?
Yes.
Go ahead, Bob, go ahead, Sue.
Who does that evaluation?
The select board.
All right, go ahead.
What happens if this vote doesn't pass? What happens, what's the next step?
She's asking a question that this article gets voted down. What happens? I'll let him answer that.
We're going. The contracts that we have, we are obligated to pay. So we're talking about town manager salary, that is one that we will still have to put funding to pay. Every other employee under that town administration line will be separated as of tonight or tomorrow morning. And then again, it'll be up to the town manager and us to try to come up with some sort of budget that we can put to the town that can run those operations under the administration.
Don Gennaro, 14 Sweetser Street. I just want to let everybody know, as far as our taxes going up, again, it is the school. And one thing that I wanted to mention to everybody in this room, we have to pay these employees. Some of them don't make enough money as it is. We have excellent programs. Our rec program is fantastic. A lot of our programs are great. Our boards don't make any money. These are people that volunteer their time, and we need to run this town. We can't just say, oh, we're going to stop. We are addressing the tax problem. I am volunteering with James Bellissimo to bring industry into the town. That's what reduces our tax base. So what we can do to help is if we have people that are working in industry, maybe talk to somebody, or you can get some industry moved into town, or if you have some ideas that you'd like us to pose to somebody for other industries, we're all ears, because we want to bring the taxes down.
Just a minute.
Bobby Jones, Perfectionist Slovak, Perfectionist Scoreless, you're very nervous. Bobby Jones, Perfectionist Scoreless. So, Mike, when you say separated, you mean laid off?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Tim Watts, Green Drive. As much as I don't like how the budget went this year, and I am one of the people that did not like it, I do believe that Article 2 is a must-pass because we do need town hall operating. However, I would personally recommend that we get a potential cost-saving report from the town manager. I don't know if we can do an amendment to this article that puts that as a requirement to pass the budget. Basically, something coming from the town manager's office stating where the town, outside of the salaries of the employees, could potentially save some money in the fiscal year 25-26 that we're looking at. I think if we had a report like that, I don't know when the due date could potentially be, I think that would put a lot of people at ease knowing that we have done due diligence with contracts, we have done due diligence with agreements that we have with very tangible utility providers such as Comcast, which a lot of people are unhappy with. So I believe that this should pass, but So we need some form of report coming from the town manager's office showing justification for the things that were voted for greater than an article that we voted on with two-sentence blurb. Thank you.
Mike Boldy, how is the salary for the town manager determined at 100 and whatever? That seems to be the issue why it was voted down, was the town manager. How was his baseline determined? If he's so far, he's what, $50,000 to $60,000 of difference between the lowest and the highest?
Anytime we look at salary, I'm going back to last year when we went through the hiring process. We have contracted with, HR representative that went around and looked at the state, supporting salaries around the area, years of experience with all of the candidates, and then from there, we make that determination, looking in line with what other towns are paying, other communities are paying.
What towns did you use as the bounce off? Sanford, Portland?
I do not have the answer right now.
Augusta? I mean, if you're gonna go apples for apples, you need to have answer to the question.
I don't have an answer right now with what exactly is what we're actually.
Pretty Glover, George Street. If this doesn't pass, how many people are you laying off?
Great. Any other question? If the article doesn't pass, how many layoffs tomorrow morning? The answer was 3. Yes, sir.
Hi, Ron, Rick Burns, School Street. Can we use some of this money to buy a sound system so that I can...
The Legion has a system, and we should have brought it up here. We should have asked the Legion to bring it up here. We usually do.
Now that we know.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So can I ask, do we think about the 3% increase in pay raises?
The question was, where did the 3% come from to give those raises? The board?
That was pulled up from cost of living raises and to match the union negotiations as well as time.
What was the COLA this year? Anybody remember 2 point what? 2 point something, the COLA, wasn't it? 2.18.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is it?
2.18.
2.18% COLA last year.
That sounds high. I know, I understand 3% doesn't catch you up to what you really need. I mean, the government, I think, gave like under 2. Social Security, I think, gave under 2. State of New Hampshire gave under 2. So I just wonder where we come up with 3.
The only thing I would respond to that is, if you're on Social Security, you got a 2.18. That comes out of that. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am?
Rebecca Pringle-Glusky, Bolton Street. The reason I asked what I asked before is because the people that I had asked have said they're upset because the taxes went up so much. And what I have told them is the taxes have gone up so much because we voted for a 49.4% school budget. That's $9 million over what the state says it should cost to educate our kids. And I don't think anybody really knows that because that number was not on our ballot to vote. If anyone saw $49.4 million that we're voting for the school compared to $600,000 here, $20,000 there, I think that might have got voted down. It only passed by 6%. So I understand the town manager, and this what we're voting on tonight has nothing to do with the school board. But I think a lot of people don't understand that the school is responsible for the massive majority of our taxes.
I think the school budget was on the warrant, was it not?
It had no numbers on it.
On the June 10th vote, yes.
Yes.
On the 10th,
It was separate.
School budget, SAD 60 is a quasi-governmental institution, okay?
That's what I'm saying.
Excuse me.
People misunderstand that, and I just want to make it clear that
they moved the vote, I have to go with that, okay?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
So I will read the article. Yes. Thank you. Article 2. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $492,486 for the town administration account for the fiscal year 2025-2026, which begins tomorrow? What is your pleasure? If you're in favor, say aye. Aye. If you're opposed, say nay. Nay. Chair rules that the ayes have it and the article is adopted. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moving adjourn that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, we're adjourned.